Hello and welcome to Football Daily, where today we're looking at 10 players who flopped at first, only to rebuild their reputations and become stars. Let us know who you wrote off too quickly in the comments below. 10. Fernando Torres. £50 million is still a huge fee today, so when you remember that Chelsea paid that for Fernando Torres in January 2011, you realise what an insane outlay it represented. At the time, the Spaniard was regarded as one of the best in the world, having hit double figures in 8 consecutive seasons with Atletico Madrid and Liverpool, but the warning signs were there too. Torres making over 25 league appearances in just one of his 3 campaigns with the Reds. Still, the Blues wanted him and they were rewarded with a truly shocking half-season from the 26-year-old, netting just 1 goal in 14 games as Chelsea finished 9 points off champions Man United. The next year was a little better, yielding 6 in 32, but this time the stats didn't matter, as Torres scored a vital goal at the Camp Nou to seal Chelsea's passage to the Champions League final, where he came on as a sub, putting in a massive shift with 4 dribbles completed, 2 free kicks won, and 3 tackles interceptions despite playing just half an hour. His form would never recover its Liverpool heights at Stamford Bridge, but Torres' role in Chelsea's continental triumph almost made him value for money. 9. Michail Antonio. Between 2010 and 2021, West Ham signed 50 strikers, and of those 50, arguably just 3 were successful. Demba Ba, who played half a season in London, Marko Arnautovic, who left on bad terms in 2019, and Michail Antonio, who originally joined as a winger and netted just 28 goals in his first 4 years at the club. Antonio's odd blend of talents was initially a problem for the Jamaican, with coach Slaven Bilic comparing him to Antonio Valencia and installing him at right back, while even David Moyes, later the architect of the player's move to centre forward, initially preferred him wide, handing him just 300 striker minutes in his first spell as Iron's boss. Though gifted, Antonio never caught fire, just once making 25 starts in those 4 early seasons. But in 2020 he got lucky, Moyes drafting him into emergency forward duty, with £45 million Sebastian Haller injured post-lockdown. Having scored twice in 15 appearances before the break, Antonio netted 8 in 9 afterwards, the club rising from hovering above the relegation zone on goal difference to 5 points clear of the drop. He's grabbed double figures in all 3 years since. 8. Casemiro. Not so much a flop as undervalued by a club fixated on star power, Casemiro joined Real Madrid in 2013, the Spanish Giants taking a £5 million flyer on the player after he'd won the Youth Copa America and Under-20 World Cup with Brazil. In Madrid, it wasn't just Casemiro's name but his technical ability which brought criticism, and after 13 appearances in 2 years, Real made plans to claw back some of their investment, sending him out on loan to Porto, where he worked under future Merengues boss Julen Lopetegui. But Casemiro flourished with the simple job of winning possession, putting up an insane 9.7 tackles and interceptions per 90, and Porto activated a purchase clause to make the deal permanent, only to lose the player anyway, with Madrid immediately paying their buyback. It was perfect timing. Ancelotti and Benitez had been company men, trying to fit James Rodriguez into the team at the behest of Florentino Perez. But new boss Edin had the clout to give the team what it needed, dropping a forward to include a specialist DM. Having fallen to 3rd by Christmas, Real lost just 1 league game over the back half of the season and won the Champions League, a trophy they've hoisted another 4 times with Casemiro. 7. Laurent Koscielny. Being a defender for later Arsene Wenger sides was not the easiest gig. Gung-ho and stacked with tiny playmakers, the Gunners lacked the muscle of their Invincibles era, but that didn't stop fans and pundits blaming the centre-backs for their problems, and Laurent Koscielny had a rougher ride than most. Signed from Lorient for £8 million in 2010, Koscielny was only replacing Philippe Senderos, but still disappointed, earning a red card on his debut at Anfield, and while there were glimpses of quality, especially in their 2-1 victory over Pep's Barcelona, the year ended in disaster, a mix-up with Szczesny handing Obafemi Martins a tap-in as Birmingham beat the Londoners in the League Cup final, extending a 6-year title drought. But little by little, Koscielny grew in stature, topping out at an incredible 6 tackles and interceptions a game, and helping the club concede under a goal a match in 3 of his 9 campaigns, as well as winning 3 FA Cups, and twice scoring in the last game of the season to secure Champions League football. Eventually appointed captain, Koscielny's quality became more obvious as he played less, the Gunners floundering without his phenomenal athleticism and distribution. Though he departed under a cloud in 2019, he remains one of the defining figures of the Emirates era. 6. Jordan Henderson. Being so bad you get dropped is one thing, but being so bad you get someone else fired takes a special kind of incompetence. But that's apparently what happened after Jordan Henderson's calamitous first season at Liverpool, with technical director Damien Comolli, the architect of the Englishman's £16 million move from Sunderland, fired by the American owners for wasting their money. At the time, you could see their point. Though Henderson was only 20, everything was in freefall at Anfield, with his long passes, tackles, interceptions and chances created all down on his previous numbers under Steve Bruce. But in a way, his loss of reputation worked for him, with no one willing to take him off the Reds' hands. And he slowly improved under Brendan Rodgers, doubling his ball winning and missing only 9 games over the next 3 years, his dependability earning him the captain's armband after the departure of Steven Gerrard. Intelligent and without ego, Henderson quickly became a Klopp favourite, and after 11 years on Merseyside, boasts 450 appearances, a Champions League and a title with the club, a lesson in the value of hard work and the stupidity of snap judgments. 5. David De Gea. Young keepers are rare. In 2021-22, just 3 stoppers aged 21 or under earned 1,000 minutes in Europe's top 5 leagues. So when Man United brought David De Gea from Atletico Madrid in 2011 for a then massive fee of £90 million, they should have expected that the Spaniard would need some time to settle, despite a year and a half of La Liga football under his belt. However, he was joining a side with sky-high expectations, and on his debut he looked out of his depth, conceding 2 dodgy goals in a 3-2 Community Shield victory over Man City. As the season wore on, he couldn't handle crosses and made another 2 errors leading to goals, and eventually Fergie had to take him out of the firing line, dropping him for backup keepers Anders Lindegaard. The 21-year-old was devastated and even considered leaving the club, but redoubled his efforts to take back his place, ultimately winning over his manager and keeping 8 clean sheets with just 16 conceded in the final 19 games of the campaign. He ended the year with a 79% save rate, United's second best between 2011 and 2022, and would go on to claim a place alongside Schmeichel and Van der Sar in the pantheon of Red Devils goalkeeping greats. 4. Edin Dzeko. The first player ever to score 50 goals in 3 of Europe's top 5 leagues, Edin Dzeko arrived at Roma in 2015 with a job on his hands. The club's top scorer the previous year had been 38-year-old Francesco Totti, and 7 teams had netted more than the Giallorossi, making their capture of the 29-year-old Bosnian on loan with an option to buy vital, but at first Dzeko looked set to fall on his face. Paired with Mohamed Salah, Dzeko still couldn't find his scoring boots, and his early efforts saw fans nickname him Cieco, the Italian word for blind. He ended the year with just 8 strikes in Serie A, trailing Salah and midfielder Miralem Pjanic, and Roma panicked, bringing in Stefan El Shaarawy to lighten the load on the forward. But they needn't have worried. Dzeko hit 17 in the first 20 games of the following season, taking a massive 5.2 shots a game, reached 30 by March, and ended the campaign with 39 in all competitions, breaking the previous Roma record by 7 goals and earning the Italian Golden Boot. He ended up top scorer in 4 of his 6 years at the Olimpico, and now ranks 3rd on the club's all-time goal-scoring list. 3. Jamie Vardy. Everyone knows the broad brushstrokes of the Jamie Vardy story. Released by Sheffield Wednesday at 16, the forward worked his way up the non-league pyramid, but by the age of 25, he was yet to play a second of professional football, despite scoring 62 goals in 83 games for Halifax and Fleetwood Town, as well as winning the Conference North and Conference Premier League in back-to-back seasons between 2010 and 2012. Having narrowly missed out on a move to Blackpool, Vardy finally joined Leicester in the Championship for £1 million, then a non-league record. But the money put a target on his back, and after just 4 goals in 26 games and endless abuse from the Foxes faithful, the Englishman considered quitting the game altogether, with assistant manager Craig Shakespeare having to talk him out of taking a job as a party rep in Ibiza. It was worth the effort. Vardy scored 16 the next year to take Leicester to the Premier League, hit 24 2 years later to win a miraculous title, and has since earned 26 caps for his country, as well as netting over 150 times for the Midlands outfit. A club legend and still going strong at 35, that's £1 million well spent. 2. Diego Costa. Signed by Jorge Mendes at 18 when he was earning £100 a week in Brazil, Diego Costa was an Atletico Madrid player before he was 20, but still faced a long journey to the top. From the off, it was clear that Los Rojiblancos didn't know what they bought, with Costa dubbed the new Kaká at his presentation in 2007, and he was subsequently farmed out on loan for 3 years as Atleti wobbled from 4th to 9th. Costa returned in 2010 as backup to Forlan and Aguero, but after just 6 goals in 28 appearances, a deal was struck to sell him to Besiktas, only to be scuppered at the last minute by a 6-month knee injury. Again, Costa went on loan at Rayo Vallecano, and deployed as a 9 he started to show his mettle, bagging 10 in 16, then the next year impressing in an Atleti shirt for the first time, top scoring the Copa del Rey as the capital club ended a 17-year wait for a domestic trophy, besting Real Madrid in the final for the first time in 25 attempts. Costa still had more yellow cards for Simeone's side than goals, but in 2013-14 he finally exploded, netting 36 goals in all competitions to help his team to a league title and a Champions League final. He left for Chelsea that summer, before returning in 2017 to earn the club another championship. 1. Luka Modric. 2 weeks shy of his 27th birthday when presented at Real Madrid in 2012, Luka Modric was touted as an instant upgrade for the Blancos midfield. The last year for Tottenham he'd thrived in a messy redknapp system, delivering 2 dribbles and nearly 3 chances a game from deep midfield. And he'd done it at international level too, making the team of the tournament at the 2008 Euros. The £40 million swoop felt like a slam dunk. But experience means nothing if you can't deliver. And while Modric earned the 4th most minutes in the squad in his maiden year, he was seen as a problematic hybrid of number 10 and centre-mid in Mourinho's 4-2-3-1. Again excelling in dribbles and chances created, but trailing Alonso, Khedira and Essien in defensive output. So when Real ended the year with only a Super Copper in their trophy cabinet, one before Modric joined, the Croatian bore the brunt of fan displeasure, coming first in a poll of the worst signings of the season, ahead of Barcelona's Alex Song. But Ancelotti's switch to 4-3-3 transformed everything, and Modric starred as Real lifted a first UCL in 12 years. He's since played over 400 times for the club, won 3 titles, 5 Champions Leagues and the Ballon d'Or. Perhaps the greatest L Madrid fans have ever taken, and they'll only be too happy to have been wrong. So guys, that was 10 transfer flops who became club heroes. I'm sure there are multiple players we missed out, so let me know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to smash that like button and subscribe to Football Daily, and I'll catch you next time.